And a woman speaking out for the first time after being stalked for over a decade, then kidnapped and chained in a soundproof bunker. Samantha Stites is opening up in a new ABC News 3-part docuseries as she recounts a story of fear, resistance, and resilience.
This guy's stalking me. And then one night, I heard the squeak of a floorboard just outside my bedroom door. My heart starts racing. I've been kidnapped. I'm in this torture chamber. I see these soundproof patches on the wall, so no one's going to hear me scream.
She was not gonna get out of that box alive.
I just want to find him and I want to get him into custody.
I wanted him gone. I wanted him dead.
If you chain somebody into a wall, you have no boundaries.
He's gonna do something violent. He's a monster.
This becomes a fight for my life.
Now Samantha's sharing how she escaped that soundproof bunker and lived to tell her story, and she is here now to tell us all about it. Samantha, thanks so much for being here. First of all, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with this, and I cannot imagine what you have endured and what it has taken for you to get to this point.
Yeah, thank you. It's definitely been an ordeal. Several years aside from the stalking, the legal process was extensive. So,
how does it feel to be speaking out and sharing your story now after all this time?
it feels nice. It feels like I'm kind of owning back my power and that which was taken from me through the kidnapping and imprisonment. So it feels nice. I hope my story will lead others to learn about stalking and make some legal changes as well.
Your stalker had been following you for over a decade, and you met him as a student in passing. So what was that first encounter like? And when did you start realizing how dangerous he really was?
Yeah, that first encounter, I met him, I would say my sophomore or junior year of college. And, we just kind of made small talk. We were in this, student group together, and he was just an awkward person. And I thought I would be nice and make conversation with him so he wasn't standing alone. And, it was kind of a short interaction. It really wasn't until I graduated college and he found me in my hometown and, said he wanted to move states and do the same internship I was doing after college that I realized something was wrong.
You talked about the legal system. I know firsthand how difficult the legal system can be for stalking victims. And you actually did get an order of protection against him. So what did you make of that process, and then what happened next?
Yeah, the first PPO I was given in 2014 was a relatively straightforward, quick process, and it was granted for 6 years, which ran until 2020. He seemingly sort of disappeared from my life when I moved out of state. Little did I know he was surveilling me in other ways. And when I moved back to my hometown area, northern Michigan, I began seeing him again. And I certainly had concern, at that point what his intentions were, but he hadn't tried to speak with me or anything. So it was kind of confusing at first.
We're going to hear the full story in the docuseries, but what can you tell us about your experience in that bunker and how you finally escaped?
It's every person's worst nightmare. It's something you watch in a scripted film for entertainment. I knew that, being locked in this tiny room he had made for me, that I likely had a low chance of survival. It was frightening with him there, but it was also potentially more frightening with him gone and being locked in this silent, dark room with no one knowing where I was.
So what do you hope viewers take away from this docuseries and from your story in general?
Yeah, I hope that this sheds some light on stalking and how prevalent it is. 1 in 3 women are stalked in their lifetime to some degree, certainly, and thankfully most not to the extent that I was. it can happen to anyone at any stage of life. You know, I was 30 when I was kidnapped by my stalker. So older than I had expected. I hope it changes some of the discussions about PPOs and legal protections as well.
All right, Samantha Stites, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Stalking Samantha, 14 Years of Terror is streaming now on Hulu.